This is a short tour around Roche Abbey, which is near Matlby. So I'm starting off at this small waterfall. Then I'll come along to the Abbey itself. I think it's actually shut down at the moment. You can tour it during the summer months. It does shut down for winter. I'm pretty certain it's shut down, but I can see everything I want to see from the outside. There's two ways, so either come in via the road or I come in from Lawton on Lamorthen and through Kingswood on the public footpath. So I'm just skirting around the hedge of Roche Abbey now. There's parts of it appearing. And I'm going to come to an open field. I'll give you a view across the open field. I think this is called Matlby Night just here. Like I said, you can pay to go around it, but at the moment you've got to, well, you'd had to book to go around it in summer. I can see everything I want to see from the outside just as much. It's a big open field around it. The river running down the side. Normally there's cows in here. So I'm going to go right round Roche Abbey, show you the lot. View from higher up. Coming down the other side now of Roche Abbey. I'm sure everybody knows the history why it's in this state. Henry VIII. Whether they teach that at school, I don't know anymore. Let's get some close-ups. Must have been magnificent when it was fully functional abbey. Sure, it's of sort of Norman French origin. Wish I could time travel and see it as it really was originally. But there would have been lots of outer buildings where the monks slept, or they kept animals and things like that, but that all went years ago. It is owned by a family, I think it's Earl of Leeds, Earl of Scarborough, something like that, and in the past they've landscaped it. It's a strange sort of alley because the sun in it, it's not perfect light today. Certainly gives you an idea of it. Go to one of the pillars. I'm new to all of this video thing, so it's like giving you a bit longer to look at it, which I found out from playing back previous video. So there you can see one of the pillars that must have gone right up. So I'm sort of on the second side at the moment, and I'm going to come to the sort of gatehouse where you pay to go in. I'm sure this building itself has got some historical value. Have a look back at the Abbey. But like I say, there's a building coming up now that's got some historical value. There's some story, I don't know how true it is. Some pregnant girl or lady hung herself in this building, because I don't know how true that is. There's also supposed to have been many sightings of ghosts around here, but I've been down late at night and I've never felt anything. It's been that dark I've needed a torch. So it's, I think it's the English, I'll tell you in a minute, who actually runs this, but they run it, but it's still owned by a family. I think they sort of rent it off the family and let people around it. So I'll show you the information on the board. Yeah, it's our English heritage. I know when it was open. It's all your details. So it's closed from 2nd of November, it says. We're not even got to 2nd of November. It's only open so many days a week then at the moment, Wednesday to Sunday. So it is open at the moment to go around. Got to be a Wednesday to Sunday. But even then, you have to pre-book on it as well, so it's not great, is it? So this was the main entranceway to the monastery in the past, where they've handed out food to the poor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to, there's a road around that you can get down to from the main road at Old Coats to Matlby, I think it is. And there's a winding track down. I don't know if this winding track's the original one that the monks used years ago, or whether it was put in later. Problem is nowadays you can't drive in here after say 5 o'clock at night. The gate swings across, so there's no car access. But there are ways in. I come in across the fields. There are other ways in on footpaths that are local, so you can park elsewhere at the side of the road and come in on those footpaths at night. There is a sort of public area around here on the footpaths. Car parking area here. And I'm just going to show you the bottom of the track. can see. I don't know if that's the original track from the monks, cobbled. Anyway, we'll carry on back round. Roche Abbey. I don't know if it's one river or two rivers, but I know one of them is at least called the Matlby Dyke. And I understand this river on the side, which we'll come to in a moment, has kingfishers on if you come at the right time of year. I've never seen any kingfishers on it. Certain times of year as well, there's grouse all over the place around here. See, that's the gatehouse from the other side. So this is where the poor would have come to get the food in the past. I'll show you a quick thing inside. I don't know how well this camera works inside. And you can see inside. Some work gone into that. See the limestone that it must have been built out of. Big limestone cliffs around here. This was the Matlby Dyke I was talking about before. Certainly you should be able to hear it flowing at the moment. I'm told by somebody who I've seen here before saying that certain times of the year you'll find kingfishers around here. I'm now carrying on the track around here.
Hiya. Come on.
I'll show you another angle on the Roche Abbey as I come round the back side of it. coming round back to where the waterfall was before. Some stepping stones. They've ruined the stepping stones. They pull the stepping stones out and just put them across higgledy-piggledy, whereas before they were nice and straight and they look right. To me, they've been like that for probably 100 years, and somebody's done some work and actually put the stones back staggered. It looks like more political correctness to me. Maybe also get another view of the Abbey from here. Somebody else was filming down there at the moment. I didn't want to disturb them in the middle of what they were doing. I can't get down there, so I'm going to come back round. For above Roche Abbey is like a big raised lake. The river goes into one side and out the other. Not sure how long this has been around, whether it was around at the time of the monks or when it was landscape. You can see that area there. All bulrushes at the other end. I'm not sure if I can get them bulrushes on for you. So that's the bulrushes right at the other end. And I'm coming along to the stepping stones. Just beneath this is that waterfall that you saw. As you can see, the stepping stones were all straight and they decided to put them staggered like this. Well, it must have been like that for hundreds of years. Some bright spark with all the political correctness or whatever it is decides to do it that way. See the top of the waterfall there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on back through King's Wood and see how long the video lasts. But what I'll probably do is, part of the way through the wood I'll stop it, because a wood's a wood, because there's some quite nice views on the way back to Rotherham from here. Looking across, I think, at Letwell and Brookhouse and places like that. So I'd rather show you that than something that's just wood all the way along. So what I'll do is I shall pause it, and then I'll come back once I get out of the wood, back onto the top field, show you some of the villages down the valleys as I come back into Lawton. So I'm still in Kingswood at the moment and coming out of Kingswood, but at this point, as I'm coming out of Kingswood, you can go straight on and that'll take you through to Brookhouse. It's a nice walk down there. Or the way I'm going, because my car's parked there, I could still go the other way, but I'm going back up through Kingswood. I'm coming out the top and I'll be onto the fields in a minute. It's quite a high descent, so if I'm puffing and panting at times, it's because I don't walk slowly, and it's certainly a drag, this bit. I don't know what it looks like on a video, but it's a struggle to get up on a mountain bike when it's wet, because there's no grip. There's walks all over the place round here. More used to doing videos, the more walks I'll add. I think I need to upgrade the camera, because this doesn't last particularly long, and it's not There's good quality of some of the modern cameras now. I'm certainly out of breath. I haven't been out walking much for the last few weeks, other than to the shops. So I'm now to the top of Kingswood, and all around here is corn, cobs. I think these are planted for the grouse. There's quite a few of them around at the moment. See if we can catch one. They run off like anything. See if I can just get that up. You can see them there. Very so nervous because they probably think I've got a stick. I understand the reason they call it Kingswood is Prince of Wales used to come to Furbeck Hall when Furbeck Hall was the place to be, and his back way into Furbeck Hall was through the wood, so that's my understanding why it's called Kingswood. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera off again for a while because I'm just walking around the edge of a corner of the cob field, and then from a much nicer view with villages on the other side, so I don't want to run out of juice in the camera before that, so I'll pick up again in a little bit. So I'm back on again now. You should be able to see the village out in the distance. I'm not sure if that... There's a village above Brook House. I don't think that's like what I'm saying. Houghton Levitt, I think, possibly. It's the village above Brook House. Off in these villages anymore, it's mostly town folk that's moved here. There's a bench down there where people could sit. It's quite good for sunsets down there. Following this path up, the easiest way to get to Roche Abbey is to park up at Lawton on Lamorthen at Furbeck Lane. There's a bit of struggle parking there at the moment. I've parked on one of the estates. And then walk down to Ledger Lakes. And where the cafe is, if you turn left onto the footpath, you just follow that straight down. That brings you into Kingswood. And then you drop down Kingswood and turn right and just follow the footpath all the way along. Here at Roche Abbey. So easy to find it. Most people around here probably don't even know it exists. Well, the route anyway. Well, Matlby never show you power stations at Brentford on Zoom. It's quite low cloud cover today. I can't even see it with a visual eye today. We're on a cold morning. You can see the steam rising out of those cooling towers. And I'm not even going to get into CO2 warming because I know that isn't true. CO2 is good for the environment, things grow. Nature produces a lot more CO2 than we could ever produce. So CO2 isn't warming the planet. It's our orbit around the sun on the 11-year sun cycle. At the moment we're actually moving away on the orbit from the sun, which means we're going to have some sort of more than a minimum period again. But like with COVID-19, they've totally distorted the truth. Yes means no, or 2 + 2 = 3, not 4 anymore. There is another track down here, but it doesn't take to Brookhouse like I first thought it would do. There's a track down there. End up getting last time I come. Well, I'm just going to do a quick zoom. Show you. See the red brick building, that's Ledger Lakes Cafe. I'm going to come back to where I am. If I walk from Lawton, I don't reckon it's more than probably 30 minutes to Roche Abbey. If I'm on the bike, I reckon I can get from my house at Dinnington to Roche Abbey in about 20 minutes. I think we're coming up from another vantage point. I can give you another view. They're very late this year with the corn. It seems to have all been corn and barley and wheat this year. There's another view of that. The village, I'm sure it's Oaten Levett or Oaten something, just above Brookhouse. Used to be the cartwheel at Brookhouse, but that went a few years ago. That got turned into a house. There's the travellers in now. House, but I've absolutely no interest while this traffic is going on. Nobody gets my details. We're just going for a meal somewhere. At the moment we might have a view of Lawton on Northern Church. On another video I'll show you the castle remains there. It's a Mott and Bailey Castle by the side of Lawton on the Moor than All Saints Church. And you can just still see it. It's in somebody's garden because it was a high vantage point. It's quite a high hill as you come in from Lawton or into Lawton from Brookhouse. And that would have been a Norman fortification, whether there was something there, a Saxon fortification there previously. The guy who knew all about Dinnington and Lawton was Roy Newman. Roy passed away a while ago. There's another seat there, another vantage point really. I think that's probably the edge of Brookhouse there. Round back up to seeing Lawton on the Moor Church as we just come round this corner. Wilton Village has been spoilt a bit as usual because too many modern housing developments. They've damaged the view of the church. The pubs have shut down. Hatfield Arms is still there, but one bit that was planning permission for some shops and flats. I don't know what's happening with that. The St Ledger shut down a few years ago as well. That shut down first, and that's now somebody's home. It doesn't quite look the same. There used to be a co-op, Horton on the more than that's a house now. No facilities. Most of the farms are being built on. I'm going to show you some small dwellings that you can live in there. You can see about 4 of them from here by the side of the lakes. Church, lots on the more than. This is my favourite church around here, All Saints. They have St John's flag on it, Union Jack on it. I'm sure the Archbishop cross. I noticed is throughout Brexit referendum, while I was delivering flyers to houses, there was always the rectories with the EU flags on them or posters saying stay in it. So I'm just going to show you the new dwellings for people who are... Right, so I'm just going to zoom in on dwellings at Ledger Lakes. You can see there's 4 of those all together. I'm going to have another look round the scenery to zoom back out, see the village above Brookhouse. It's a really cloudy day today. To the church. On the video camera then, so I don't know if I'm repeating myself. I'm sorry. But it basically said that it was a slow speed card in the camera recorder. Well, it isn't. So it actually stopped recording, so like I say, I could have repeated myself just there, but it got 2 for the price of 1. I'm going to just show you there's a there's a railway system that was in place for all the mines originally. I'm just seeing if I can get you that bridge. It's a bit hard sometimes with the... There it is. So I'm coming down there, that's coming through Brookhouse, that's the bridge. Single carriageway over that bridge. South Yorkshire joint railway system. When it comes into Dinnington, it becomes a double track. And what I've suggested in the past, and I think my MP's actually on with it, is we could put a train station in Dinnington and Anston, and there's a two-way track which joins the Northern Line for Worksop that goes to Sheffield. That's at Lindrick Dale. It can directly join onto the track and go into Worksop. There's actually a viaduct already there and a bridge, so it needs a small bit of track, about say 400 metres, and that connects straight to the Sheffield line, and we can be running hybrid super trams into Sheffield daily. Well, they could be running every half hour. with stations round where the crossroads are in Anston, another one at Dinnington. We have 25,000 people living around here, so to boost our community. People working in Sheffield. Also be great for people who live in Sheffield who could visit here, because I think there's a lot more tourism around here, tourist opportunity, than our councils are doing. I just don't think our local Anston Parish Council, Dinnington Parish Council do enough. I think they just come down, sit on the boards of the monthly meetings or weekly meetings or whatever they are, talk about absolutely nothing as far as I'm concerned. Well, Rome burns, Nero fiddles. Anyway, we're coming up now. I've got another view of the village above Brook House. You can see it. Must be quite nice living in some of these houses. But you can go in the countryside and still get the same sort of noise. If you've got somebody playing around with a car, you can hear the racket from miles away. I used to go into Derbyshire all the time, walking every weekend. Parking got more and more expensive. Traffic got more and more dense, and I was down looking for walks around Anston and Dinnington. Sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit out in the Peak District with some of the walks around here. There's plenty of old houses around here in the countryside. There's a lot more history than you'd imagine. There's an estate called the Gallinites, and the guy who owned that, the family, has something to do with the Civil War, and they were the people who actually put the king back on the throne after the Civil War. So at the moment I'm coming up to where Ledger Lakes cafe is. Keep animals here, or they have done. Used to be a llama here. There's a few donkeys, a horse, and there was a really friendly ram. I don't know if he's still here, but he was having problems. They wanted to try and relocate him. He'd been hand-reared, and they said that he'd got a defect on his jaw. But I've noticed that he'd really put some weight on since he came here, so I think they were worrying more than was necessary. There's All Saints Church again. I've been up there, up in the spire, and they say that you can see the sea. You can't see the sea. What you can actually see is, you can see the river at Scunthorpe where the blast furnaces are. So, like Chinese whispers and rumours when people say you can see the sea on a good day, you can't. It's definitely the river at Scunthorpe, and the blast furnace is just there. So that's still a good distance. What is it, 40, 45 miles? And that's why the castle was there. It's a good vantage point. So now we're coming up the side where the Ledger Lakes cafe is. You can fish at the Ledger Lakes. And this is what I don't like. All around here is modern housing. Sort of really spoils the church. And on one side of the church now, when you're coming, I think, from Brook House, they build a load of houses there. I'm not really sure how they get away with it with the planning permission. I'm going to show it you now. So this is the sprawl coming from Lawton on Lamorthen. These houses have probably been here from the 60s and 70s, but they just, as farms shut down, they pack more and more houses on the land. To be honest with you, I think they've spoilt it a bit. It's still a nice village, but So I'm coming up now. It's a bit muddy at this bit. Onto Furbeck Lane. You can actually go left down to Roche Abbey, or right into Lawton on the Moorland. There's a limited car parking space here, but I don't really park here. Prefer to park my car a bit away in the village. I'm going to show you Furbeck Lane in one direction. You can see the cafe, you can park here. Yeah, there's the ram, he's in his little barn. I did ask them about the ram, why he wasn't being kept in the fields, and they said they were having to treat him a bit like a dog at the moment because he was a bit upset, so relocated. There's some small sheep or something last time I spoke to them. It upset me to see him in a concrete bunker all the time. So I'm walking up Furbeck. See the church on the right, the houses looking more and more like a 60s, 70s housing estate from this side. It's great probably if you live in one of them houses, but it sort of ruins the village. But where there was a farm, where Furbeck Lane joins the main road in Lawton, they're packing the house, about 3 houses in on the bit of farmland. So we're coming up to the boundary post now. For Lawton. Must have been quite a heavy farming community at one bit. And let's just zoom in on the actual, that's the actual sign for Lawton on the Moorland. Just on the left here, there's some allotments. It's a nice walk. Coming to Lawton on the Moorland, park just off Furbeck Lane. Go down to Ledger Lakes where the cafe is. Turn left onto the track, follow the track down, all the way across to the wood, turn down into the woods. And then rather than going left when you come to the bottom of the hill in the woods, there's the allotments. So when you come down the hill, there's a left turn and a right turn. If you turn right, follow that right turning along, that'll bring you to Roche Abbey. Probably it's an hour's walk for most, but if I get cracking I can do it in half an hour at the most. So that's the end of my journey today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll add a few more journeys in the future. But bye for now.